because you lose 50%, it takes 100% to get back. So diversification, knowing how to do that well, allows you to reduce your risk by up to 80% without reducing your return.
This video is all about gaining back losses on investments. So if you have an asset you've invested in that's way down, you know what you got to do to get back up and get back to even. So here's an investing rule. And like Ray Dalio says at the beginning of the video, when you lose 50% of something, you need to gain back 100% just to get back to even. So we're going to figure out how this works. And this is not just if you could lose 50%, but any amount of money. You can figure out what you need to do to get back to even using this 3-step formula. So the first step is you're going to take 100 because it's based off 100% minus your loss percentage, and that's going to equal L. Once you have L, you're going to take 100 and you're going to divide it by what you found L to be, and that's going to equal the variable G. Once you have G, you're going to take that and you're going to multiply it by 100, and then you're going to take that number and subtract 100 from it. And after those 3 steps are done, that is going to be the percentage that you need to gain back to get to even. So as you can see, the number 100 is very important to this equation. It's used 4 times. That's because it's based off 100%. So let's move into examples now using this formula. So let's say you invested $5,000 into the cryptocurrency called Mudang coin, and it is now down 33% since you invested in it. What percentage do you need to gain to get back to even on your investment? So let's plug it in. So remember, it's down 33%. So we're going to plug that in for our loss percentage. 100 minus 33 is going to give us 67. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take 100 and divide it by that 67 we just found. And that's going to equal 1.49. Step 3, we're going to take 1.49 times it by 100, which is going to be 149. And then we're going to subtract 100 from 149, which is going to give us 49. So that means that we need to make a 49% gain to get back to even on your investment there. Let's do another one. So let's say you invested $2,500 into Google and is down 14% since you invested in it. What percentage do you need to gain to get back to even on your Google investment? So again, same 3-step formula. And so the key is, again, it's down 14%. So we're going to plug that in for the loss percentage. 100 minus 14 is going to give us 86. So then we're going to take 100 divided by 86, and that's going to give us 1.16. We're then going to take 1.16 times by 100. It's going to give us 116. And then the last step is we're going to subtract 100 from 116, and that's going to give us 16%. So we need to make a 16% gain to get back to even off our Google investment. Last step, let's do the 50% one. Let's see that in action. So you invested $3,200 into Etsy. It is down 50% since you invested in it. What percentage do you need to get back to even? So again, we know it's going to be 100%, but let's see how we get there. So 50% is our loss percentage. 100 minus 50 is, of course, 50. So then we're going to take 100 divided by 50, and that's going to give us 2. And so now we're going to take 2 times 100 is going to be 200, and then the last step, subtract that 100. So that's going to give us 100. So again, there we get to where if you're down 50%, you need to make a 100% gain to get back to even. So one thing to note here is that gaining back losses is exponential, meaning the more you lose, you have to gain exponentially more to get back to even. So we're going to jump into a graph version of this equation, and we're going to see this exponential growth in action here. So we are in Desmos here looking at our gaining back loss equation, which is this green line. As you can see, it is exponential. It grows very, very quickly once it gets closer to 100. But you can see here our parameter. X is going to be the amount that you have lost, and Y is going to be the percentage you need to gain to get back to even. So here again, if you lost 50%, you need to gain 100% to get back to even. And over here are some parameters. So if you lost 10%, you need to gain 11.1% to get to even, 20% loss, 25% back to even, and so on. But we're going to actually zoom in here, and we're going to follow this point, and you're going to see how fast it goes. And so you're going to be able to see this exponential growth in action, because as you see, for as much early on as it goes, like when you gain or when you lose 1%, you only have to gain 1.01% to get back. But as you can see, the more that X goes up, the more that loss percentage increases, the further the gap from the percentage that you need to gain increases. So let's just play this and watch it run. And it starts off again, right now we gotta lose 3%, 4%, 6%. And so we're about to cross our first marker here at about 10%. So at 10%, if you lose 10%, you need to gain back 11.1%. And let's keep it rolling. And so you can see it's still pretty close, 16 and 21. And now we just crossed 20% loss. So if you stop it here, if you lose roughly 25%, you're going to need about a 33% gain to get back to even. So now it's an 8% or 8 unit gap between the two. But again, that's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So we're into the 30% losses. And it's going to be where I won't even be able to keep up. It's moving so fast. So here we're coming up on, if you lose 50%, you need to gain 100% to get back to even. And so it's doubled now, the ratio, but it's going to keep getting further and further apart. So now I got to zoom out to keep up with it. So we're approaching here almost 70%. And we'll stop it at 75. So you can see at around 75%, you need a 300%. Let's drag it. If it's 75% loss, you need a 300% gain, or a times 3 to get back to even. And then we'll let it go all the way to 99. You can see how fast it will start moving here. So you have 85% loss. Now you're at almost a 90% loss. So at a 90% loss, you need to make a 900% gain to get back to even. And we'll let it keep running. So I gotta zoom way out here. So at a 99.52% loss, you need a really big gain to get back to even. So that is how the exponential chart of that works. So again, the more you lose, the more exponential you need your gains to be to get back to even. Hope this video helped you understand this concept, and as always, take it easy.